have all seen the drone footage of rows of Russian armored vehicles being destroyed in open fields, their men chewed up by drone-dropped munitions and highly accurate artillery. All in a near-suicidal assault on the flanks of Avdiivka. Now the reasons for the assault are mostly threefold. The Ukrainian-held town is a massive bulge in the Russian line, so strategically, it's a positional thorn in their side. Then you have location of the town, right next to the capital of Donetsk, which they have held since 2014 and which politically makes the capital very vulnerable if a Ukrainian attack was launched from the town. Thirdly, any form of operation should have taken pressure off those Russians in the south who are facing the full weight of the Ukrainian advance. But it was never going to be a cakewalk. First of all, the available Russian forces were always going to be of questionable quality. It has after all been 20 months of losses for the Russian side, and most of their top-tier troops and equipment has been destroyed. Then you have the fact that the Ukrainian lines have been held since 2014, so are well established and about as strong as they could be. So a dynamic, well-thought attack would be extremely important in ensuring success. But that was never going to happen. From a country like Russia that seems hell-bent on killing as many of its own men as possible, it was only going to end in national disgrace and tragedy for them. It's believed that they have thrown at least 8 brigades into the attack. So far, it's estimated that they have lost almost a brigade's worth of men, or roughly 4,000 casualties, to what has been a highly attritional assault. Despite the attempt to draw Ukrainian strength away from the south, the only major reinforcements that we can confirm were 2 battalions of the veteran 47th Mechanized Brigade that was leading the assault towards Melitopol. Avdiivka is a key Ukrainian strongpoint just northwest of Donetsk in the eastern Donbass region. Despite the reinforcement from the 47th Mech, it's been the responsibility of those already in Avdiivka to hold the line against back-to-back attacks by the much bigger Russian force. One of those brigades is the 110th Mechanized, which garrisons the northern sector. The 2,000-person, 110th Mechanized Brigade is not the most experienced unit nor its best equipped, running mostly old Soviet and Dutch armored vehicles, like the thin-skinned YPR 765 and the BMP-1, which date back to the 60s and 70s. Despite this, it is arguably the hardest and most important job in Ukraine's war effort. They have to hold Avdiivka without further replacement, which could reduce the effectiveness of the attack in the south of the country. Of course, this isn't easy, as the unit has been manning the zero line around the clock for a year and a half now without being rotated out, so exhaustion is a very real issue. But like all Ukrainian units in the field, it's not about the equipment or tactics. When it comes to this type of highly attritional, non-stop warfare, it's morale that matters, as it's that which keeps you focused and pushing forward. Thankfully, Ukraine has that in spades. The Institute for the Study of War said that Moscow's forces have sustained severe losses in equipment in their campaign for control of Avdiivka, which will likely undermine Russian offensive capabilities over the long term. It is estimated that the 110th alone has destroyed 200 Russian vehicles and killed 800 Russians in the first 13 days of fighting, and this is just in one section of the line. Apart from their sheer determination, they have also employed direct fire artillery support from the 50th Artillery Brigade. The effect on the Russians has been so dramatic that there are reports of soldiers being threatened with execution by their officer corps if they retreat. The sad irony is that either way, death is inevitable, and this level of hatred towards their soldiers is not new, with Russian history being littered with examples of their poor treatment. Despite your beliefs on this war, I think it's clear that there is nothing for Russia in Ukraine. They cannot win here, and the only thing that awaits them is more death, destruction, and the ending of their country. So, whilst they may continue to kill and injure Ukrainians, this will not end in anything positive for Russia. Isn't it time that ordinary Russians rose and demanded a change that might save them from more sadness and pain?